were pivotal as you were coming to understand the subject?
Yeah, it's funny being a social scientist. I mean, it's not a sort of a desiccated thing. It's not as if I leave my work in the lab walking around, getting on a flight,
right.
sitting in a taxi. That's the lab when you're
right.
a social scientist.
Street laboratory.
Yeah, so I mean the street laboratory. And it's amazing because the things that people tell you are a validation or a repudiation of a lot of the stuff you study in my field. So this book really started at a time when I was feeling out of sorts with my career, with my life. I was CEO. I was I was the president of a think tank in Washington, D.C.
And doing extraordinarily well.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great, but something wasn't right. I was looking around at other people who did what I did for a living, and I found that they kind of fell into a funk. That they liked their jobs less as they got through their 40s and 50s. They kind of lost interest, and that was a tell that maybe things weren't going so well. I was looking forward, and I said, "Can I keep this up?" And at that time, just about that time, I overheard this conversation. I was on a plane. It was at night, and I was doing what I always did, which is traveling at night. And I was doing 175 speeches a year and had to raise $50 million a year for my nonprofit. It was like running for the Senate and never getting elected.
Right.
It was a total rat race. I mean, it was great because I believed in the cause, and I still do. But I was sitting on this plane tapping on my laptop, and it was dark. Most people were sleeping or watching the movie or something, and I heard this couple behind me talking. And I couldn't quite make out the husband. I was assuming it was a married couple because they sounded very elderly, and it was a man and a woman. And I heard him kind of mumble, and then his wife said, "Oh, don't say it would be better if you were dead." It's like, now they got my full attention. You don't have to be a social scientist to be tuned in now. I started listening, and I don't mean to eavesdrop, but wow. And she's consoling him, saying, "It's not true nobody cares about you. It's not true that your time has passed." On and 20 minutes. So he was obviously disconsolate. And then we get to Washington Dulles Airport, and we land, and the lights go on, and I'm kind of curious, and I turn around. I'm expecting to find somebody who's kind of just disappointed, somebody who's been passed by, never able to live up to his own dreams, maybe. And it's one of the most famous men in the world that everybody knows, and not controversial, beloved.
So you recognize this person immediately.
Oh yeah, and my mind's blown.